John, wake up.
What is it?
Next door, I heard a scream.
Stay here. I'll go check it out.
John? Is everything all right?
Oh my God, you're covered in blood.
Go back inside. It's not mine. It's not. Go back inside and call an ambulance right now. Go!
I like your dolls.
You survived. You don't come out the other side of something like this weaker. What is there left to be scared of?
This is the last of them. How did that get in there? I swear I threw it out.
Things must have got mixed up. There, she fits right in.
Come to mommy. Come to mommy.
There are things happening that I can't explain.
We should talk to someone.
I don't think what you're experiencing is a ghost.
Sometimes demons can attach themselves to objects.
What do I do?
Protect your family.
Who are you?
You know, I continue to be impressed with James Wan's ability to get so much out of so little. The budgets on these horror films are so small, but yet he's so effective with practical special effects. For instance, that shot at the end where the little girl, they speed it up and she's running towards the door and then it jump cuts to her adult version. I mean, that's very effective, but very cheap to do. And it's, I believe, an in-camera special effect, something, Edgar Wright perfected on Attack the Block and The World's End. And it's just really admirable, especially today when people rely so heavily on visual effects via computer. But we're seeing, I think, a real backlash to that. It's even going into Star Wars. Ryan Johnson was talking about that recently, a backlash to computer special effects and wanting to go back to practical and in-camera effects. And I think that's what's so charming about James Wan's horror films. But that said, I think he's maybe double dipping a little bit too much. And I think creatively, he isn't as ambitious as he is technically. For instance, the woman in the white robe reminds me a lot of Insidious. So that's not even the same franchise. It's a James Wan film, so I guess you could say he's a franchise in and of himself. But at the same time, you can't really mix and match The Conjuring and Insidious unless this is all supposed to be one horror, the same horror cinematic universe. I guess that's one way you could go, but I think a lack of clear delineation could hurt these films as they try to progress. I'm much more excited about the actual sequel to The Conjuring, which is coming out in summer 2015. That's going to go to England, and it's going to pick up again with the Warrens. I think that's something I'm a little bit more interested in this. This seems very standard to me. Same kind of scares, as I said, repeated scares. And although I do have to say, I think it's funny, a lot of people I've been seeing in the comments for this trailer and the first one are like, who keeps that doll? I guess they said they tried to throw it away, but keep trying. It's clearly a weird, evil doll. Even just looking at it, you'd be like, I don't think we should have that in the house. But I guess, again, if these people were smart, there'd be no movie. But the best horror movies are when people don't have a choice. For instance, in the Conjuring, they really couldn't leave. There was also the problem they couldn't afford to leave at first. Very real reasons for staying. When people have silly, stupid reasons, it takes you out of the movie just a little bit. But this also reminds me a little bit of The Omen, and I think that's another thing that James Wan is very smart about, is that The Omen, The Shining. These were high-end horror films. Everybody looks great. Everyone has great outfits, costumes. They're period pieces to some degree. Well, actually, these are period pieces, and The Shining comes across as a period piece today. But really great attention to camera setups, framing, the way the sets are dressed. Everything just looks very nice. And that's something I think The Omen was one of the first really great horror films, I think, to The Exorcist to some degree, but that was more low budget. The Omen looked slick. The father was, I believe, an ambassador or something, so they had a nice home. They dressed nicely. And I think that, it's almost like the Hitchcock glamour aspect to these films. And I think that it's very smart of Wan to apply that here to his horror films. And I think that's the saving grace of this. A lot of the similar things we're used to seeing, but it seems fresh because it's not like your typical teens in a summer home horror film, which has been the standard for so long. But we'll see. If James Wan is not careful and is too prolific without making enough advancements creatively, he might just oversaturate his own brand or uniqueness. But this has a lot of heat. People are very interested in this movie based off of The Conjuring, so we'll see. I did like at the beginning when he runs out and he's like, "This isn't my blood, quick, call the police." That was really well done and exciting. So this looks good to me, and James Wan continues to be the only horror films that I will see because I can trust him not to go for gore and gross out. I think, I much prefer this kind of, elegant horror, something like The Others, etc. But this is a happy medium. It has enough blood and scares to satisfy the horror crowd, but while being mainstream and glamorous enough to bring in those non-hardcore horror fans, which is why I think he's enjoying so much success at the box office. So what do you think? Can you get past the ridiculousness of keeping this doll? What do you think? Does the set design and the costumes, does that make a difference to you? Or would you just be just as happy with Annabelle terrorizing a bunch of teenagers in a lake house as is the norm? And what do you think makes James Wan stand out as a horror auteur? Why do you think he finds so much success? How is he different from all the rest? Write your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for tuning into my trailer review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.